Hello and welcome to the Nitika Behel Show, the Game of Life series. Today in the studio, I have with me counseling psychologist and author of the book I'm a Miracle Being, Rachana Awatramani. Hi Rachana, welcome to the show.
Hi Nitika, thank you for inviting me.
Rachana, would you like to share with my listeners what does a counseling psychologist really do?
Okay, so a counseling psychologist is someone you can go and speak to, okay, about your concerns, emotional concerns, your mental health issues. So it can be something that you want to share, vent out, or it can be even major to say personality concerns, depression. So these are technical words.
Right.
So more of a layperson, someone who just wants to share something, is uncomfortable, is stuck, is confused in life, they can just come and meet a psychologist, and then the counselor, professional psychologist, would guide them from there.
Right.
So not necessarily a major problem has to happen in your life to go and speak to a counselor.
Okay, so when you say not exactly a major problem has to happen, so could you, like, based on a particular case study, share like what kind of people would actually come to a psychologist and when is the right time for them to come?
Okay, if you ask me, I think everyone should visit a psychologist.
Okay.
The reason only because sometimes you need someone to share.
Yeah.
You cannot speak everything to your husband, to your wife,
Or even to your friends for
even
that
to
matter.
your friends, because there is a lot of judgment.
Yes.
We always think, वो मेरे बारे में क्या सोचेगी, वो
Correct.
मेरे बारे में क्या सोच रहा है,
Correct.
should I say this? I should say this, so my image is like this. So these are a lot of questions that people have in their
Right.
mind. So it's very uncomfortable to completely open in front of someone.
Definitely.
So when you meet a psychologist, a counselor, they provide you a space, an environment where you're not judged.
Yeah.
Where you can open your heart, be true. So whether you're angry on your parents, I think this is majorly that we see. Kids who are angry with their parents, they don't want to express it because they feel, "Arey, aise kaise ho sakta hai? I can never be angry with my parents."
Right.
But it's an emotion, it's a feeling. So a counselor is not going to judge you because you're angry with your parents.
Right. Because you're also not talking to friends, so you have no need to defend yourself unnecessarily as well. So you can also take feedback on a neutral ground.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that works really well. So do you feel that today's generation has a lot of in-store anger? Since you brought up that subject, I mean, that topic or that example, do you feel that today's younger generation, or the millennials as we like to call them, do they have more anger issues than maybe the past generation had at that age?
I think I have cases who are coming when the younger generation is coming a lot with relationship concerns.
Right.
Yes, there is a huge generation gap.
Right.
They are coping up with their technology, the new technology that is coming up. They want to cope with it. So yes, there is anger, but not so much as if I have to do a comparison. I
Right.
haven't done a research, so I might not know it in numbers.
Right.
But I think I see a lot of younger generation unhappy.
Right.
So there's a lot of people who just come are not happy.
Are not happy. And usually they wouldn't probably even know why.
Yeah,
They're
don't
very
know why.
confused as to
Exactly.
why they're not happy. So tell me, do you also work with schools or do you work with individuals alone? How does it happen?
Okay, so we work with educational institutes as well as corporates.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a team. We have a team of industrial psychologists, clinical psychologists, and a counseling psychologist. So we divide the roles. Whoever's good at their job,
Right.
they take up that responsibility. So we deal with parents, teenagers. Like I personally see a lot of parents and teenagers and a lot of employees.
Right.
Those are the people who come to me for face-to-face consultation.
So typically in a corporate setup, for example, what kind of challenges do people approach you for?
Okay, one is, of course, there is stress.
Mhm.
There is a lot of pressure from the company to perform. Another is if they have a problem at home, a relationship issue, they cannot speak at work.
That's right,
So
yes.
they want to speak to somebody outside.
Yes.
So I'm very happy that companies are open now to get a psychologist on board.
And definitely they should, because it's at the end of the day your emotional issues is impacting your performance at work. So if the company wants them to continue to do performance in peak state, they need somebody to take
Yes.
care of the rest of it for them, which of course the HR is not necessarily qualified to do. So what about schools and institutions? What do you do for them?
So we do a lot of career guidance assessment.
Oh, wonderful.
For 9-10 standards, so
Mhm.
that they understand where they're good at, what are their potentials, their abilities, their personalities, how is it. So we make them aware, what is their interest, and then guide them accordingly.
Right.
A lot of new things are coming up, like mobile addiction, social media addiction.
Yes.
So parents are also coming up because they want to know how to deal with my child.
Right.
I don't know how to interact. Like I had a call today in the morning saying my son is doing, behaving in a certain way. So how do I deal with it? So that is a great thing that parents are actually asking how to do it. And whereas even children, they're not aware on why there is a gap.
Right.
What is the concern? They're stuck. So what happens is we take a lot of workshops with
Right.
schools
Right.
so that we can spread awareness on how to cope with it, how to manage your relationship with parents. We take workshops with parents. We do one-on-one counseling. Youngsters are experimenting with drugs,
Right.
Alcohol.
Yeah.
There is relationships, sexuality is a
Right.
concern.
Right.
So they come up with a lot of these sexual questions who they cannot ask their parents.
Yes.
So they want to ask somebody they can trust.
Absolutely, yes.
So they come and share about all these things.
In fact, even when I run workshops, one of the things that I've noticed with the younger generation now is that they're looking for love and connection from the parents. And unfortunately, because in today's time, mostly both parents are working, and there is, there's that gap, there is that need, and because of that need not being fulfilled, they're sort of switching to social media or Facebook to get that validation and that virtual love and connection, which of course, not being real, is not giving them what they need, and therefore this this trauma and this depression is setting in the younger generation.
Absolutely.
So you also mentioned assessments when you said career assessments. So what kind of assessments are available?
Okay, so we do a lot of psychometric testing that we buy from the institutes,
Okay.
which are validated and reliable for the generation or for the, the age group that we are going to assess. So, like for 10th standard, we do an interest, personality, and an ability test.
Oh, very interesting.
These are the three, and they're all reliable tests based on Indian population.
Okay.
So we do those tests for them. If we have to go to corporates, then we do, say, recruitment or adjustment scale,
Right.
or again checking out if they have the ability to perform that kind of a job.
Right.
So we do those tests. All are, as I keep saying again and again, they're all validated and reliable tests for any
Right.
population.
Right. So can people sort of approach you on a one-to-one basis as well to run these tests for themselves just out of interest, or do they have to follow a certain procedure?
Yes, they can come and tell us that they want to do a personality assessment, and we do that. Majorly people want to do a personality assessment because they want to understand their personality more. They want to know where do I stand.
Right.
So how do I improve? So for self-enhancement also it is a very good thing to see.
To have,
yes, and again an anxiety test, a stress test to just check out what are my levels.
Right.
Where do I have to work
right.
on? So it gives a way of knowing yourself more.
Right. So are these tests designed by you or they're licensed?
No, they're not designed by me. So we buy it from the institute who do the research.
Oh, wonderful.
We purchase it from them.
Wonderful. And then you run it, and based on your experience of, your number of years in this industry, you're able to sort of give them a more detailed feedback on the test.
Yes.
Yes. So you tell me, Rachana, like from your point of view, what do you see as a trend right now in terms of, what kind of challenges in generic maybe people are facing these days?
Depression.
Yeah, I think it's a big one, right? Even Bollywood is now talking about depression.
Depression, exactly. So, and it's very nice because Deepika Padukone started talking about her
Live,
depression.
Love, Foundation she started also, which is very interesting.
Which is really helping out. Second is relationship. And not to forget, Dear Zindagi, Shah Rukh Khan took up a role of a psychologist.
Which I think was again a wonderful thing he did, because now people don't feel that bad about going to a psychologist, right?
Exactly. And they've understood, people who watch the movie, they will understand what is the difference between a psychiatrist and a psychologist.
Absolutely, yes.
They've shown it very well. In fact, now when people ask me, what do you do? I tell them I do exactly what Shah Rukh Khan did in the movie. So relationship, as Alia Bhatt, they've shown how she had concerns, and then there are some issues with parents. So we have cases like that. We have addiction, depression, and relationship. I think these are the three major
ones.
Reasons why people come. I also see LGBT group.
Right.
So we are LGBT friendly counselors. So
that's fantastic.
Clients from that area who want to talk, explore their sexuality. So these are some things they come and talk to us.
So Rachana, you wrote a book called I'm a Miracle Being, right?
Yes.
I think which is now this month going to be 5 years after release, yes? So would you like to share a little bit about what that book is all about?
Okay, so I'm a Miracle Being book is a combination of psychology and spirituality. If you see, there are a lot of activities in that book that people can use day to day. So you don't have to actually sit separately and do that exercise. You can just do it every day. Make a part of your life. So this book was written by me and Afsha Sheikh. She's also a counseling
Okay.
psychologist.
Okay.
So we both have done the work together, and we're happy to share this book. Even now, it's available on Amazon and Flipkart, so
Right.
people can buy it. Another part about the book is it talks about your uniqueness. It
Right.
talks about how different you are. And then there is nobody in this entire planet who's exactly like you.
Right.
So it's nothing less than a miracle that in such huge population,
Absolutely.
whoever's the creator, whatever you believe in, had paid so much attention in creating
Of
you so
course.
beautiful, so different, and we forget that. So
Of
I think that
course.
book is just as a reminder to
How
people.
wonderful. Even our thumbprints are unique. So, of
Exactly.
course, the entire being, though we don't even want to get into the discussion of how unique it's going to be.
Exactly. That's why it's called I'm a Miracle Being. So it tells you that I am a miracle being, and a reminder that listen, I'm a miracle on this earth, and I can do what I want to do, and I'm so different, and I need to love myself. I need
Right.
to be aware and acknowledge my being.
Right, right. One of the challenges I've felt with the people coming to us is that, our education system trains us in the science of achievement, but not in the art of fulfillment. And do you feel that is one of the reasons, since you work with a lot of schools and colleges, that, that is a big challenge with children because they know how for a certain input there will be a given output, but they do not know how to remain happy during the process of achieving that. So they're more result oriented rather than process oriented.
Yes.
So how do you handle cases like that?
So one, as you said, the school system, they don't teach that how to be happy. So when they come to us, again, getting small things back in place, the basics in place, taking
Right.
care of self, paying attention to self, seeking for happiness from outside.
Right.
That is what I think in the entire process we learn.
Right.
If we get this, I'll be happy. If I get that, I'll be happy. If I buy that product, I'll be happy.
Yes.
But it's again momentary.
Absolutely.
But when you see yourself within, because everything happens inside. See,
Yes.
nothing happens from outside. If I'm hurt, it's me who got hurt. If I am sleeping, dreaming, it's me happening inside me.
Correct. Yes.
I'm feeling happy inside me. I'm feeling sad inside me. Everything is happening inside.
Absolutely.
So how can you say that I have to go outside and be happy? So it's everything inside. So when we start teaching them and training them to look within.
Wow.
I think that is one thing that we do in our counseling process. Of course, there are different therapies and techniques depending on the
situation,
client
yes,
and situation, and we take it forward like that. So that is one thing. Another different thing I want to point out in the education system is, which I'm not very happy about, that they say now बच्चे को pass कर दो. There is no
Yeah.
failure system. So I think the next generation which is going to come is not even prepared for being, for failure.
We're not ready to fail forward at all.
Exactly. Like I remember when we used to go to school, we used to put 2 chotis, 2 plants,
Correct.
look ugly, failed, repeat the class.
I like the
we
look ugly
still,
bit.
Yeah, we still have to face it.
Correct.
We
correct.
still have to have the embarrassed feeling and be there in the class and face it and be happy
Definitely.
and play it.
Definitely.
Today, you cannot fail because you're passing the next class.
Right.
So where is the training? Where are you preparing them? Because when you go outside school and college, you are going to fail.
That's right. That's
You
right.
are going to face rejection.
Yes.
So this is another thing that the new generation comes up with us and say, I cannot face rejection. How can
Wow.
you talk to me? I've had students telling me, how can my teacher talk to me like that? Because I pay the fees.
Oh
so
my God.
it's very difficult.
So there's a full rebel against people in position of authority in some sense, right?
Exactly. That is coming also because somewhere we're not training them for
Yes.
those values. We're
Yes.
not training them to understand respect.
Absolutely.
Love.
And I think
And
children
we're not giving them love.
Absolutely. And not only that, children are all the time, they're into gaming. They're like crossing levels in their game, like 5 or 6 levels in a day. Then they go out to the real world. And for years, you're probably at the same level.
Exactly.
And that's frustrating and depressing for them.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's amazing.
Another thing, parents give them the phone. So, for example, I see people in the train or mothers when they're feeding the child,
Yes.
the child is crying, you just put a YouTube video,
Right.
a cartoon, and give the phone to the child in the hand. So, that's how they are getting into technology.
Absolutely, at a very, very young age. I mean, I remember, there were no laptops and mobile phones when we were growing up, at least for me. But more than that, I'd never heard of, children don't go out and play anymore. So they have not learning basic skills like teamwork or sharing resources
Exactly.
or losing a game. So
Yes.
those things are not getting trained, and mostly people have one child, so
And it's
they're
okay to lose.
absolutely that it's okay to lose, and it's fun to lose sometimes,
Exactly.
and life is funny, and
Yes.
those things, principles, are definitely not learning. So it's a big
So
challenge.
I always say my problem is not that the technology is growing, the digital world is growing. My question is why there is no support system growing along with it.
I agree
So
with
because
you.
we cannot stop the technology
Of
growing,
course
of course
not.
it's helping us in
Yes.
some way.
Yes.
Why not have a support system along with it, growing together, so
Yes.
that if someone falls, someone's there to hold you.
Yes.
So I think that's where we came up with the 24/7 telephone counseling.
Awesome.
Because you don't know who needs to speak to a professional
When, absolutely. So, Rachana, you said that awareness is very critical, when we were talking about miracle beings. So, how important it is to be self aware in today's environment to win in the game of life?
It's very important. The reason, because to win the game of life, first you need to know the game of life.
Yes.
So if you don't know anything about it, you're not going to win.
Absolutely.
So it's very important that you know what's happening within you, outside you. So outside everybody knows. I think it's time to get inside now and be aware. And that's what makes you stronger to win that life game.
Wow, awesome. Thank you so much for that one. So, Rachana, before I let you go, would you like to share, some key insight or some message going out to the world through this podcast regarding your subject and regarding, self-awareness, depression, anything that you want to sort of leave the people with a message from your end?
To not hesitate to visit a professional. It's okay. And another thing is it's confidential.
Yes.
So they don't go and tell anybody or meet you at public place and say hi, hello. Just go there and speak to somebody if you need, and there is help.
Yes.
Before you make any major decision, speak to anybody. Of course, speak to your friends, parents, and if you feel you're not getting that neutral response, please contact a professional and get guidance.
So on that note, Rachana, if somebody wanted to contact you for guidance, could you please share how they could get in touch with you?
Okay, so they can visit our website called www.icsonline.biz, that is BIZ, and they can contact me on 9819310167. This is the office number.
All right.
They can reach us there. All our addresses are available on our website. We are also on Facebook on icsonline.biz. You can search on that name, or Inside Counseling Services LLP. We have a YouTube channel of the same name, Inside Counseling Services. And yeah, they can search for my name, Rachana Awatramani, on Google, and they'll find me on Practo.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rachana, for being on the podcast with me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you guys for listening to us today. I'll be back soon with another incredible guest. So hang in there. See you soon. Bye-bye.